Love Stryker by Lexi Buchanan.
1. Stryker 10 years ago. Dad, I'm not sure this is such a good idea. My heart raced in my chest as though it would explode. My palms went slick as fear coursed through my veins. I'd already thought Dad's late-night plans were a bad idea, and they seemed worse the minute I saw the dark, deserted alley. It gave me the chills. Nothing good was up that alley. Even at 14 I knew it, but my dad was determined, so I followed him across the street. Something shouted for me to run, which gave me pause, but my legs had a mind of their own and followed him. My dad turned, and then frowned when he noticed the slight hesitation in my usual eagerness to follow him anywhere. The nervous twitch in his right eye went crazy. It isn't, but it's the only thing I can do. Before I could work out what he meant, my dad grabbed my arm as though he was afraid I'd run. He dragged me to the mouth of what I considered a nightmare. The stench of rotten food made me want to hurl. Every creak, even the wind howling around us, had my eyes constantly straining to see through the pitch black. I half expected someone to jump out brandishing a gun, or knife, or some other weapon. Head down, my eyes landed on the hold my dad had on my arm. Something wasn't right. In fact, nothing about the evening felt right. I knew my dad constantly bet on the fighters in the cage, winning and losing on a regular basis, but what that had to do with tonight, if anything, I didn't know. My dad never took me to the fights, no matter how much I begged. I wanted to hang out with Dad, wanted to be like the fighters, tough, strong, fearless. One day, that would be me standing in the cage with the crowd shouting my name. Then my dad wouldn't have any choice about keeping me away from that life. I'd never understood the obsession my dad had for the fights, but they'd put him on a high for days afterwards, unless he lost. Pulled to a stop, I felt the shake of my dad's hand as his grip tightened. He turned to look at me, and the fear I saw in his eyes was something I'd never expected to see. My blood turned to ice, and the wrongfulness of the night felt all too real as a large vehicle headed down the alley from the opposite entrance. Caught in the headlights, my first reaction was to run and hide. The tension jumping off my dad was high. His breathing was frantic and sweat beaded on his forehead. With my free hand, I shoved the black hood of my sweatshirt from my head so I didn't miss anything. My pulse hammered in my neck, and all I could hear was my heartbeat thrashing in my ears. When my dad's only reaction was to stand and stare at the approaching vehicle, I knew then that they were here because of him. What had he done? Dad? I turned and hoped he'd offer me an explanation.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?